everyone. Welcome to Studio Classroom on the Air. Today's going to be a great day. Are you ready to learn something new? My name is Anne-Marie.
And I'm Gabe, and I'm wondering what is going on with all of the stuffed animals, Anne-Marie?
I love stuffies.
Stuffies.
Yeah.
Okay, a lot of people love stuffed animals or stuffies, but aren't we talking about Shakespeare today?
Well, we're talking about Shakespeare Week, to be precise, so I thought if we could celebrate Shakespeare for an entire week, what else could we celebrate for a whole week?
And so you wanted to celebrate stuffed animals.
Yeah. Doesn't that sound like fun, friends? A whole week of nothing but stuffies. Just think of it.
Stuffed animals have nothing to do with our lesson today. How will our friends learn about the exciting activities that are a part of Shakespeare Week? How? How? Oh, don't worry, friends. We're going to listen to our first reading for the day right now, and we'll see what we do with all of our stuffed animals. Let's get started.
Shakespeare Week. Last year's Shakespeare Week was focused on art and design. It included resources developed by famous authors, illustrators, and even a TV host. A new event, a portrait competition, was added to the Shakespeare Week celebration last year. Children 11 years old and younger submitted portraits of Shakespeare to win prizes. This year's Shakespeare Week, which is going on right now, focuses on the theme of well-being. Its events and resources are designed to promote emotional learning as well as physical, moral, and social health.
Hello everyone, welcome to Language Lab. I'm Jack. 一起来看 well-being 这个复合字，意思是幸福、健康。譬如 Phil's mother is concerned about Phil's physical well-being because his apartment is in a high crime area. Phil 的母亲担心他的人身安全，因为他住的公寓附近犯罪率很高。或者The economic well-being of many countries is in trouble due to the worldwide pandemic. 由于全球性的疫情，很多国家的经济都陷入困境。再举个例子 After Mr. Wiley's injury, his neighbors were worried about the well-being of the whole family. Wiley 先生受伤后，他的邻居都担心他家人的福祉。再来看 submit 这个动词，是提交的意思。例如All application forms must be submitted to the committee by the end of the week. 所有的申请表都必须在这周结束前提交给委员会。或者 Barbara submitted her design plans for the new office space to her boss, and he approved them. Barbara 把新办公室的设计案提交给老板，他核准了。再举一个例子 We have 2 days to finish our experiments and submit our results to Professor Wang. 我们只有2天来完成实验，并把结果提交给王教授。All right, let's get back to teachers.
All right, thank you so much, Jack. And let's get into our reading, friends. Last year's Shakespeare Week was focused on art and design. It included resources, there's that word we learned about yesterday, developed by famous authors, illustrators, and even a TV host.
Excellent, excellent. So that was last year's focus. Now, the use of the word focus here in our lesson is not like concentrate, when you're concentrating on a subject. We're talking about the emphasis, okay? So there are a lot of things that a Shakespeare Week can focus on, and last year the focus was art and design.
That's right. Let's find out how they did that. A new event, a portrait competition, was added to the Shakespeare Week celebration last year.
That's cool.
Children 11 years old and younger submitted portraits of Shakespeare to win prizes. So in order to help the students focus on art, they had them all draw pictures.
I think that's really cool. You know, when I hear the word portrait, Usually I think of a picture, as in a photograph.
Oh, uh-huh.
Because a portrait could also be a picture of somebody, right?
True. I've heard people used to paint portraits,
Yeah,
though,
people
right?
used to paint portraits, and, you know, so I guess these kids, they don't really know what Shakespeare, they don't have a picture, a photo of William Shakespeare. Nobody's taking a photograph of William Shakespeare. That's kind of impossible these days, huh?
I guess they'd have to use their imagination a bit, right? Maybe see drawings of him that they've seen in the past and
Exactly.
use their own imagination to create their own portrait of what they think he looked like.
Have you ever drawn a portrait of someone, Anne-Marie?
When I was small, I'm not good at drawing at all.
Yeah?
No.
I really liked Robin Williams' version of Popeye. And so I actually used to be a pretty good artist when I was
really?
in elementary school. Yeah,
Okay.
I drew a portrait of Popeye, and it looked a lot like Robin Williams, the way he played him. But I'm not very good at drawing right now. Do not ask me to make a portrait today, friends.
You've never made a self-portrait before?
Oh my goodness, that would look terrible. Well, we read on this year's Shakespeare Week, which is going on right now, focuses on the theme of well-being. It's going on right now. Have you ever heard the phrase in full swing, Anne-Marie?
In full swing? I have, yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes we say, oh, summer is in full swing.
Exactly. That means an event is going on. It's already started, and the exciting things have already started to happen, and they're not going to end anytime soon. It's in full swing. However, right now, you see a picture here of something pink. And there's some
Yes.
balloons in there. It sounds or looks like this is a party of some kind.
Well, it's a themed party, which is what I want to talk about next. Do you see the word theme in your text, friends? It says that this year's theme focuses on well-being. So last time they celebrated Shakespeare Week, the theme was art. This year's theme is well-being. That means everything that happens during Shakespeare Week is going to go along with that idea.
Well, this little worm Willie is looking at that cake over there. I think he's thinking if he eats that cake, it will be good for his health and well-being. Yes. But let's talk about themes a little more. Because this picture really doesn't make me think of well-being. It makes me think of maybe a little girl's birthday party.
Yeah,
Or something
that's
like that.
That's one way that we use themes is for birthday parties or events. When my daughter had her birthday's theme was pigs. She really likes pink pigs.
Pink pigs?
Yes, just like the one I have right here.
Oh, I can't wait till she sees this on TV.
Yeah.
You have to tell me how she reacts.
Have you ever been to a themed party before?
Yeah, a couple of years ago, my friends, I'll say their names because I like them, Kat and Bertina, they had a themed party. It was the 1920s.
Oh, okay.
And a famous novel from around that time was The Great Gatsby. So they called it The Great Catsby for Kat and Bertina.
Very
Yeah.
cute.
And everyone dressed in 1920s clothes. It was really cool. That was a great themed party.
All right, well, we read on here, friends. Its events and resources, talking about Shakespeare Week, are designed to promote emotional learning as well as physical, moral, and social health. So those three things all tie back into that theme of well-being.
Exactly. Well, let's take a look at something from this sentence, and that is the use of the word design. Okay, so last year's Shakespeare Week focused on art and design. Here we see the word design and to. It's designed to do something. We use this to mean it's created for the purpose of something.
That's right. If something is designed to do something, it means that it's been specifically created or made to fulfill a very specific purpose. So I have a pig puppet here, right?
Yes.
What is this puppet designed to do, friends? It's designed to work like a puppet, first of all.
Anne-Marie, I think that pig puppet is designed to make children smile and laugh.
So it has a very specific purpose.
Exactly. I think that Willie, this lovely worm puppet, was designed for the same purpose. And little Ray, Anne-Marie's daughter, we hope that you are smiling right now.
Well, the events here in our Shakespeare Week were designed to promote emotional learning as well as physical, moral, and social health. How do those three things tie into well-being, do you think, Gabe?
Yeah, well, they all have to do with well-being because our well-being doesn't just refer to our physical health, but everything about us, our emotional health, our social health, everything. Well, we have more to learn about Shakespeare Week, but right now, let's go to the Info Cloud.
Hi everyone, welcome to Info Cloud. Today we are going to look at another phrase that comes from a Shakespearean play.
It's interesting how phrases that Shakespeare wrote hundreds of years ago are still part of spoken English today.
I agree. I often like to look at the journey of different phrases in English or how they came to be so that we know how to use them today.
So what is today's Shakespearean phrase?
It's vanish into thin air.
What do you mean? Did the phrase vanish into thin air? That means we can't see it?
No, the phrase is to vanish into thin air. But you are right about the meaning of it. If something vanishes into thin air, you can no longer see it or find it. It disappears, and often in a mysterious way.
I see. Or maybe I don't see. Well, let's use it. Simon had his car keys on the counter, but now he can't find them. It's like they vanished into thin air.
Or the magician made the woman vanish into thin air. What a trick! I wonder where she went. Now, friends, use this phrase. Don't let it vanish into thin air. Do not forget about it.
当一样东西原本在你手里，但因为某种原因突然不见了，你可以用今天分享的用语 vanish into thin air 来形容。vanish 是消失 ，thin air 是稀薄的空气。vanish into thin air 就表示凭空消失了，不见了。例如 The magician made the woman vanish into thin air. 那位魔术师让一个女人凭空消失。通常我们有东西突然不见了，那是一件非常令人挫折的事情。你可以说 It's like they vanished into thin air. 那些东西好像凭空消失一样，找不到了。这就是今天的 Info Cloud， 我们下次云端见。
Studio Classroom is on the air.
Thanks for sticking around, friends, as we finish our lesson about Shakespeare Week.
You know, there's a really special activity that goes on during Shakespeare Week that we haven't talked about yet.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
The book hunt.
Oh, sounds fun. Are you ready to learn more about that, friends? Keep those magazines open and let's keep reading.
Shakespeare Week. In the last few years, during Shakespeare Week, one of the best activities has been the Great Shakespeare Book Hunt. Each participating school receives a free children's Shakespeare book donated by Walker Books. On the first day of Shakespeare Week, these books are released into the community. Children are encouraged to look for the books in places such as a supermarket, a park bench, or a bus. Those who find a book are given instructions to read it and place it in a new location for someone else to find. Clear, waterproof envelopes protect the books from being damaged. Through the Shakespeare Week activities and events, children get to experience works of art. Organizers hope this will influence their lives and encourage their love of Shakespeare for years to come.
"接下来我们来看动词 donate， 意思是捐赠、奉献。比如说 Many people not only donate money, but also time to help during the crisis. 在困难时刻，很多人不仅捐钱，也献出时间来协助。或者 Pearl donated 3 bags of used clothing to the women's shelter. Pearl 捐了3袋二手衣给这个妇女庇护中心。再举个例子 ，This wing of the hospital was donated by the Harris family in memory of their mother. 这个医院的侧边建筑物是 Harris 家族为了纪念母亲捐赠的。最后来看 waterproof 这个形容词。Waterproof 是 water 和 proof 2个字的结合，意思是防水的。例如 My cell phone wasn't waterproof, so when I dropped it into the lake, it died. 我的手机不防水，所以掉到湖里去后就坏了。或者 Linda put on her waterproof boots before she went out into the rainy night. Linda 在下雨的夜晚出门前穿上了防水的靴子。再举个例子咯。A waterproof tent is essential if you are going camping in the mountains. 如果要到山里露营，防水的帐篷是必备的。All right, let's get back to our teachers.
Thank you so much, Jack. Let's get right into our reading, friends. In the last few years during Shakespeare Week, one of the best activities has been the Great Shakespeare Book Hunt. Now, I've heard of egg hunts before and treasure hunts, but I have never heard of a book hunt before.
Well, you get the idea that you're going to be searching for books or looking for books in different places. When you hunt for something, that's the idea. You're searching for something. You know it's out there somewhere. It's hidden. You just have to go and find it.
Well, I'm curious to see how the book hunt is executed. Let's read on here. Each participating school receives a free children's Shakespeare book donated by Walker Books.
Now, Shakespeare didn't write books. He wrote plays
Right.
and sonnets. So the Shakespeare books we're talking about are written by other people about Shakespeare. Here's one you can check out. Michael Rosen wrote a book called What's So Special About Shakespeare? Or Marcia Williams wrote Tales from Shakespeare. These are the kinds of books on this list.
Those books sound like they would be really good for introducing primary school students to the idea of Shakespeare so they could learn about who he was.
Exactly. It's
Makes
a great way
sense.
to stimulate their interest in this famous English playwright.
All right, let's keep finding out more about this book hunt. On the first day of Shakespeare Week, these books are released into the community. Children are encouraged to look for books in places such as a supermarket, a park bench, or a bus. Well, it sounds like those books could be really anywhere.
They could be anywhere. If you go look on the website, there are a lot of different places, even places where people meet for religious services. The books could be hidden in there too.
Wow.
So we read here, those who find a book are given instructions to read it and place it in a new location for someone else to find.
Hey, this reminds me a lot of geocaching.
Geo what?
Have you ever heard of geocaching before?
Oh, geocaching. Yeah, the CH sounds like an SH.
Yes.
Okay, so geocaching, I think that also involves hunting, right?
It does. So you get coordinates, sometimes from an app, and it will tell you where something is located,
Okay.
and then you have to try to go find it. Usually the things are hidden in a park or a tree or a supermarket. My husband really likes to geocache. He actually found this geocaching coin one time. We found it in a tree in a park.
Well, that sounds like a really fun way to go out and hunt for something, friends. Maybe you can look up geocaching, find out a little more about it. Maybe you can get involved as well. Well, we've had a lot of fun learning about Shakespeare Week and this great Shakespeare book hunt. But right now it is time for us to learn about some Shakespeare quotes in today's SC Challenge. For today's challenge, let's find out who's playing with us. We have back in the studio.
I'm Manya. Hey, everybody.
And I'm David. What's up?
All right, what's up, everyone? Well, our lesson here is about Shakespeare, and we have some more information we'd like to share with you, everyone. Today is a bonus for you. We're going to talk about a few famous lines from Shakespeare's plays, and your job is to guess what play these lines are from. And then if we have time, we can talk about what they mean, too. So here is number one. You have your bells ready?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, here's number one. Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? Yes, David.
Merchant of Venice.
That It is an excellent play, but that is not correct.
What?
Manya, would you like to guess?
A Midsummer's Night Dream.
A Midsummer's Night Dream. Guys, here's a key word from that quote. Romeo.
Got it. Romeo and Juliet.
All right, David, you got a point. Romeo and Juliet. By the way, what does that mean? Wherefore art thou Romeo?
I'm pretty sure it just means, where are you?
Right. Well, actually, that's not what it means. It's kind of like Juliet's wondering why Romeo has to belong to the family of her family's enemy. So that word wherefore is like the word why. Do you ever use wherefore like that?
Not for about 300 years.
Not for about 300 years, yeah. I wonder wherefore we don't do that. Well, we continue here. Number 2, to be or not to be, that is the question. Which play is this from? Yes, David?
That sounds like someone really struggling with why they're alive.
Yes, yes.
That sounds like something Hamlet would say.
Hamlet indeed did say that. And what do you think this could mean? To be or not to be? What's he talking about here? To be or not to be? Manya, to be or not to be here on the SC Challenge. Is that the question?
Yes, that is the question.
That is the question.
It's like why? It's like why, to live or not to live. Things that a lot of people struggle with. Okay, the third quote is, brevity is the soul of wit. Now, this is a little harder. Yes, David?
Brevity is the soul of wit. Could it be King Lear?
It's not King Lear. It's not King Lear.
Is it Macbeth?
It's not Macbeth. It's actually Hamlet again.
Oh, trick question.
I know, sorry. It's kind of a fun phrase because there's a lot of things that we can express in life, and the best way to express it is in a really brief way. Even though I usually use a lot of words when I'm expressing stuff. But thank you for joining me today, friends. David, of course, is our winner. And we'll see you next time for another SC Challenge.
Hey, Gabe, those quotes were pretty hard.
Well, I know that last one is a little less famous, but it's kind of fun anyway. Friends, there are so many Shakespeare quotes that you could look up online if you would like. But we still have all these stuffed animals
here.
Well,
yes,
Anne-Marie.
because now we're done talking about Shakespeare Week. We can all focus on celebrating Stuffed Animal Week.
But maybe some of us don't want to celebrate stuffed animals all week, even though I love my puppet Willie.
Well, if you don't want to celebrate stuffed animals for a week, what would you like to celebrate for a week if you could?
Well, that's a great question. I think my anniversary would be something great to celebrate for an entire week. And math. How about math?
Why would you celebrate math?
Don't you love math, Anne-Marie?
No, I do not like math.
I know, neither do I. No, I'm just playing, I'm joking. I would not like to celebrate math for an entire week. Maybe just to take a math class so that I have the skills.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What about you?
Well, Stuffed Animal Week.
Yes, stuffed animals,
Of
course.
Yes,
Right.
Anything that maybe has to do with animals, I would like to celebrate for a whole week and have all of the activities have to do with that.
Well, your favorite animal is a cat,
It is,
right?
yes.
So maybe you would like to celebrate cats for a whole week?
I sure would.
Yeah, that would
if
be
I had a chance. If you could celebrate Math Week for a whole week, what would you do?
I wouldn't celebrate algebra. I would celebrate geometry.
Oh.
Yeah, because there are some maths that are better or easier than others. Maths is how people in Great Britain talk about mathematics.
All right. Well, what about you, friends? What would you celebrate for a week? Thanks for joining us in learning about Shakespeare Week. We have a brand new lesson for you next time. We hope you join us right here on Studio Classroom.